And we're live. Hello, citizens, and welcome back to the Comm Relay. This week, we're going to be talking about ship design. And I came up with this topic when I saw the spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen the PTU. Uh, when I saw the Crusader Intrepid, which is a new starter ship from Crusader. I posted some short clips on YouTube and on TikTok, and I posted some photos on Twitter. Uh, It is very ugly on the outside, but it is very beautiful on the inside. So during the IE, I think Crusader is the first manufacturer that opens on Friday, and it's gonna be open until Saturday. So if you have a moment, go check it out on the IE Expo. It's a very interesting take on a starter ship, and I see what they're going for with it, and we'll talk about it a little more between callers and such. Because there is a lot of news that's going on in Star Citizen. We have the IAE next week, and we have 4.0 going into Wave 1 PTU late yesterday or late Friday, which is great. Finally, more people have access to it. I played this morning, and it was very smooth. Currently, we do have some login issues, as far as I know, because I couldn't log in the afternoon. But that's fine. You can just go play Save Stanton on live, which surprisingly works about 75% of the time, which is much better than in the PTU when they were testing it. So I call that a success. Anyway, while everybody's in the chat, please tell me if the audio is okay, because I did a couple things. Tell me if the camera is okay. And Maretka, thank you for the subscribe for the third month in a row, which should give you a fancy new badge. Speaking of fancy new things on the stream, I put up more emotes. And since I could not decide what kind I want, I just took some pictures of my cat, because she is a very expressive little cat that is currently running around my feet looking for her ball, which is right here. Let's see how long it takes us to find it, because it's on my desk. And PCXK, I haven't seen Morph's video on it yet. I saw his Polaris one. I am a Crusader fan, though. My first Crusader ship was the MSR that I won in a contest, and I still have it, and I love it. It's great. I wish they would rework it, because and that's gonna be the topic today, actually, with the Ares and then with the C1. They actually really refined the design language of Crusader ships, and you see it where the MSR and the Hercules have more or less the same style, where it's like more curved. There's sort of more open spaces, that kind of stuff. The layout doesn't necessarily make sense. And then you look at the C1, where it's very purpose-built, very angular inside and out, very sort of utilitarian. So that's what I would like to see on the MSR. Like, I have a lot of gripes with the MSR. One being that it was made completely obsolete by the Zeus CL, because it has more cargo in a smaller ship and the same amenities, essentially. So I would just shuffle things around with the MSR. Remove the ducts. It's completely useless. No one's ever going to use it. Keep the shielded hidden cargo area. I think that's a pretty nice touch. I like that. Remove the ducts. That's going to lower the overall profile of the ship. Or you can have 2 floors for habitation, which I think could also work. So you would have kind of like an engineering space, and then you would have like habitation and servers. So I hope they come back to it, and not before the Connie rework. The Connie needs rework, especially now with the Polaris coming out and the Galaxy is going to come out, and they're going to really nail down that RSI design language. And Integer Overload, thank you for confirming. And yeah, I think we can move on to I think we can move on to our first caller, who coincidentally is also Integer Overload. So Integer, you are live and you're unmuted. Can we hear you? We can hear you. So, becoming a regular on the show. So how are you doing? Yeah. Did you get a chance to try out 4.0 or Save Stanton? Hold on, people cannot hear you. Uh-oh. No, you are good. It is something on. Oh, try now.
Testing now.
Yeah, now
Maybe
they
you
can
can
hear
hear
you.
me.
Oh, we're sorry
How
about
about
that,
that?
guys. So, apparently the new update of OBS actually differentiates because you have like a Discord audio source. There was like an experimental feature on OBS, and it would just listen to Discord, which was great because then I didn't have to like do all the piping of sound.
Hmm.
But now apparently it actually like differentiates the channels which it can listen to.
That's interesting.
It's kind of weird, but whatever floats OBS's boat. I'm just the guy who uses it. So But anyway, so you were saying that you've been doing the phases. I think we're on phase 2 right now for Save Stanton.
Yep, been keeping up with it. Pretty similar experience to what you said earlier about a 75% success rate, roughly. Definitely had some failures.
Yeah,
Some reclaimers that just wouldn't complete the mission and then exploded on their own. I haven't personally come across the invincible freelancer that people keep talking about,
oh yeah, we had
but
that.
I've definitely heard about it.
we had that, and we were just like chasing it in a Scorpius and like shooting it, and it just didn't die. Like you couldn't even hit it, even though you were hitting it, but you didn't get like the hit marker. It was really weird. But it was just kind of like flying around. It wasn't really like shooting at anything. So, but yeah, we with the phase 1, we actually had pretty good success rate, especially when doing the combat variant instead of the cargo variant. With the cargo variant, we couldn't get it to work, and now with phase 2, like 75% success rate because it just doesn't complete the mission sometimes, or like the target doesn't spawn. I haven't tried the other one with clear the gang establishment or something, but I'm only like halfway
So
because
that
I.
one's actually really interesting. Um, the stability of it's obviously spotty, but there's some stuff in that mission that I have never seen before, and some other old backers have said that we've never seen before. Um, can I tell you about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So I just didn't want to spoil. Um, it basically spawns um, it spawns at a bunker, at a regular old bunker, like a hostile Ninetales. I think a Ninetales bunker. But anyway, there are vehicles and objects that you need to destroy. Like there are dragonflies
Oh
or
right, yeah, no,
Ursa's.
I think I saw someone doing that on stream. That's
Hmm.
very interesting. I was talking to some org mates and they said it doesn't work. Like either the targets don't spawn or you destroy them and it doesn't register that you destroyed them, which is
Yeah,
kind of
we
weird.
we ran into a couple of those. Eventually, just trial and error. Kept trying, failing or abandoning the mission and taking
Yeah.
a new one. We eventually got it to work.
But we
Yeah, you'd have
noticed.
vehicles up top, people outside, and then you had to go down into the bunker, and there were these like those the caterpillar wrecks that have those little gray and
Yeah,
yellow boxes you can
yeah.
push and pull around. There were some of those, but they were red, and you could shoot them and they would explode.
Huh, that's new. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get to play Phase 2 on the PTU, so I'm kind of finding this out. But we sort of saw a pattern while doing Phase 2 on live that when you use ship weapons to take out the targets, it doesn't work most of the time. Like you do kill the target or destroy the vehicle, but it doesn't register it. Because we had some people
See?
just try to bring an A1 and carpet bombing the bunker just to
Hmm. We
speed
talked
things up.
about that. Yeah.
And generally that's when it didn't work, or when we like shot the ground target from a ship because well I just couldn't be bothered to leave the ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, I'm all about efficiency. If I can shoot the gun with my cannon on my ship, I'm gonna do it. Like why get down there on the surface and just reduce my FPS to nothing?
Sure.
That's been kind of a weird bug that I've had on live and on PTU and 4.0, that when I go to the surface, my frame rate just disappears. Like I'm in my ship and no problem, 60 FPS. I get out of my ship and suddenly it's like 5. And it's the
That's
same
interesting.
on DirectX and on Vulkan, which I originally thought was the issue, but apparently not. So, uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not supposed to go out of my ship. But on like stations or like cities, it's fine. But if I get out at a bunker or like an outpost, gone.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I could not tell you why. Uh, so anyway, back to ship design. So, which one is your favorite ship manufacturer?
Oh gosh. Visually, I like Anvil the most. I usually end up flying RSI ships because they just have more of the gameplay that I'm after. But I love Anvil.
Yeah, they used to be my favorite when they came out with the Valkyrie, and then when they came out with the Atlas chassis. Like the Atlas chassis,
Mm.
my absolute favorite vehicle platform. I wish CIG would do more with it, and sort of. I see where they are going with it, but I wish they would do more.
For
But
sure.
looks like they are going to. But now, now that the have you seen the Star Lancer? Have you had a chance to see the Star Lancer?
Not thoroughly. I've been in a couple. I think, yeah, I've been in a couple, but not had the opportunity to check one out thoroughly.
Yeah, I that was like my when they put the Polaris and the Star Lancer into the PTU. The Star Lancer was actually the first one I went to check out, uh, and that has got to be the best designed living area on a ship that I have seen in Star Citizen overall. Like that ship, and they only had the Max in there. I haven't seen the TAC. I don't think the TAC is in actually. I think they're gonna put that out at IAE.
Hmm.
But the Max, the living quarters on it's actually comfortable. And when you look at it, you can actually see that it has like a similar layout and similar style to the Freelancer habitation area, or not Freelancer, the Starfarer habitation area. So what I'm
Oh,
thinking is that because there is going to be a Starfarer rework at some point in the future, they
I
are
hope so.
testing out some of the assets they want to use on that on the Starlancer because you kind of have like that bridge structure going there. You also have
Hmm.
like the living quarter structure and just generally the common area, and yeah, just a very well designed ship. I love it. I don't need it. I'm not gonna get it. Like I have an MSR. I don't need a bigger cargo runner. I just don't. But it's a nice sort of it kind of fills that position between uh, like the MSR and the Connie with like that around 100 SCU of cargo, and then Caterpillar C2 and those larger with 300 and above SCU of cargo. So I think that's a good place to put a ship, especially for MISC. And yeah, just generally
Yeah.
I think very nice. And yeah, the Polaris, obviously the Polaris is amazing. I love it. I wish it didn't cost the half of my paycheck.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I think I'll have fun flying around in one with my friends, but I think I'll enjoy taking them from other players more than if I had
Yeah.
one myself.
Yeah. It's I like it. I like what they did with it. I like where it fits. I like how it looks. I like how it flies. It's just that I don't think like I only own ships that I know I'm gonna fly. So I don't think I could like on a regular basis bring myself like I could get 12 people to fly with me, just like I could not bring myself to organize 12 people. That's it.
Yeah.
Introverts trying to play MMOs, just the whole thing. But moving on, so over the last couple of years or however long have you been playing? Well, you're actually pretty new, so you're gonna have a good answer to this.
All
So,
right.
which of the ship manufacturers that we have do you think has gone through the biggest evolution in their design language?
Let me see here. Just pulling up a list so I can give you a good answer because nothing's like instantly jumping to mind. The first thing I do think of is Aegis, in that specifically with all these new Saber variants we're getting.
Well,
modeled after the Raven, the very sleek, which
te-
obviously the Raven model's been around
technically,
for a while, but
yeah,
that.
they're modeled after the Raven because they wanted to sell
Mhm.
more Ravens, but they can't sell more Ravens because they were like how limited to where you bought like the fancy Intel SSD. It's
Yeah.
like my first job, they were buying those SSDs for the server room, and like I would go to IT to pick something up. I think a monitor, and I would just see like a stack on a desk, like 80 of those SSDs with like the saber on them,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm just like, guys, can I just like take a box?
Yeah, like let me just take a picture of this box real quick.
Yeah, that's what I originally wanted to do. First of all, I got yelled at to not touch that because that's
Oh.
expensive. And then I'm like, I just want to
Hmm.
like take a look at the box because there should be a code for something, and the code wasn't on the box, and they wouldn't let me open the box. So
Oh,
yeah, so I did
that's
not get my Raven that summer.
that hurts.
Arguably, that Raven would have been worth more than I got paid on that internship. So I feel cheated, I feel robbed, and I feel bamboozled.
Hmm.
But yeah, do you have your list pulled up?
Yes, and I definitely have to say because we haven't really seen any new Aegis ships that aren't the Raven model. Uh, I'd have to say it would be Crusader because I do specifically recall. Uh, I think it was maybe an ISC where they were talking about designing of the C1 and the design language of Crusader, how they had originated it as a smooth angle, and they were very white and red themed with the MSR and the
Yeah,
C2, and then how they shifted to like the white and blue hard angle
yeah,
uh, design language. That's the only change I've really
yeah.
noticed.
Yeah, you're right. We haven't had a new Aegis concept or a new Aegis ship in a long time. Besides the Ravens, we had the Redeemer, then we had the new Ravens, and that was it. And I
You can say that the Retaliator rework
yeah, but
was
that didn't really change anything visually. Just
and
changed the interior very slightly
and the turrets.
and the turrets.
Um,
So
I miss the old turrets.
yeah, oh, but and I don't think there is any new Aegis ships in the pipe right now. The only thing that's unreleased is the Vulcan, and we heard nothing about the Vulcan, and the Nautilus, and we haven't heard anything about the Nautilus in a while. And I don't think any other Aegis ships are sort of in the works at the moment. Maybe we'll see some new uh, concepts announced at the IAE. I know Anvil is going to have a new concept probably.
Would be
Uh,
nice.
yeah, the I saw it at the show floor in the hall testing, and I usually avoid these. Like I don't go to the IAE halls in the PTU because I did that once and it ruined the whole IAE for me. So I never do it. But this one time I went because I needed a F8 for a photo
Ah,
shoot, and I saw it, and it was the Anvil Paladin, and that's all I saw.
I've seen some leaks about that.
Yeah, I only saw that
But
it's listed in the hall room. So there's gonna be a new Anvil concept. Don't know what it's gonna be. I didn't go look. I wanted to, but I didn't go. I'm gonna save it for Anvil Day. And
that's a good choice.
yeah, that's why I like don't look at leaks or anything. Like people send me leaks all the time. And they're like, "What do you think?" I'm like, I don't want to look at it. Like I will see it when it gets there. Like yeah.
I definitely think that's very dangerous territory to get too leaned into the leaks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you play Magic the Gathering or know anybody that does, but that is something that has kind of transformed not transformed, but kind of taken over the player base lately is a lot of what appear to be intentional leaks of things, of sets long before they come out. So it's just like this constant hype train, uh, positive feedback loop where we're always just so hyped about what's going to come, and then it does actually release, and it's a little bit of a disappointment or a lot bit of a disappointment, but then you're right back on the hype train for the next thing coming up.
Yeah, personally, I
and I
I
don't
have
want Star Citizen to be that.
yeah, exactly. I have played Magic. I have friends who play Magic, and occasionally one of them will like bring in like the Commander deck where you have two and
Hmm.
you play against each other. So
Yeah,
I've played a lot of that. Never actually got into it myself. I've played like the what's it called, Hearthstone. I've played that a little
yeah.
bit. Uh, but yeah, when they released the Warhammer 40k Commander decks, that's where I was like, you know what, maybe I'll pick this up, and I never did. Uh, but the other weekend I was traveling a bit, and I saw the OG Warhammer 40k Magic cards, except they're not Magic. It's called the Battle for Pandora or something, and it's the same thing as Commander decks, just Warhammer 40k. And it was like in a cafe as like the board game selection,
Oh.
and that was the first time in my life I considered theft. No, in all fairness,
Uh,
Twitch don't ban me. I would have asked. I would have bought it from them because it was like old and battered. It was like
mm,
ugly. It was like, the overplayed card where it's like fraying in the corners and like the box doesn't really fit together anymore. Uh,
yeah.
but they only had one of the two decks that should be in there in that box. So I was like, I will never find the other set ever in my life. So so that was a never mind. But for a brief moment, I was very excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Um, I was looking at a list of some Aegis ships, and I did notice the Idris. I wanted to ask about the Idris interior. Was there a significant change to that this year? Because I know that they had some of the Idris interior done before, but do you
They.
think maybe they had to put some work into that to?
I know there was an Idris interior. I have never actually like seen it in game. I've only seen like 3D models that people data mined.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
but I think yes, there has been some change to it. There's more sort of side rooms and that kind of stuff. Uh, we partially saw the interior during Xenothreat last year, where they were like, "Yeah, you can actually board the Idris now." And then I'm not sure if it was during Invictus or the IAE, they actually opened it up as an Idris tour, where you could actually tour the whole ship.
Yeah, that was Invictus earlier this year.
Yeah, so and I think
I
they're
just meant I
gonna.
didn't know if they had a change from the previous interior because I know they done previous Invictus
Yeah,
tours, I think, where you could tour the Idris
that was
before they had the
the
Javelin up,
no.
or was that the
They always
Javelin?
had the javelin for that.
Okay,
I think they had some interior changes, but we won't know because we haven't seen it, or at least I haven't seen it. But yeah,
sure.
I think they're gonna do. I'm curious to see what they do for the IAE this year. If there's gonna be a javelin, or if there's gonna be an Idris. I'm hoping for a javelin because based on how much they showed in that Squadron 42 demo, they might have more of the ship done, which
I sure hope so.
yeah, which could be pretty interesting to be able to tour that. On the other hand, I would understand if they want to sort of keep that for Squadron as a sort of surprise, or so they don't spoil it, which would be also fine. Uh, but yeah, we will see. Really, I am very excited for the IE because we will have couple ship releases. We have at least one straight to flyable with the Intrepid, uh,
Hmm.
and we will
And
probably have a couple concepts.
yeah, there's definitely another. There's the Anvil straight to flyable. Uh,
There's an annual straight to flyable this year.
there is. Um, I won't spoil,
All
but
right.
there is.
Nice. Well, we haven't had an annual
And
ship in a while, so makes sense.
yeah, it's definitely one I'm intrigued by. I'll be excited to try it out. Don't think it'll be a purchase for me, but definitely one I'd like to check out. And
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think one of my friends is going to get it, and it'll be a neat ship to try out.
Oh,
Um,
I would like to get a Galaxy this year, unless they roll out something better as a refinery. Because I have the Expanse, but I kind of don't see how it will work with the Expanse. And hello to you,
mm,
Qjix. So yeah, I don't see how it's gonna work with the Expanse. With it has no interior storage. It's all in the saddlebags. Uh, yeah, just don't see it. So I would rather go for the Galaxy. And I have a 400i, which I don't want to use anymore because they ruined it
No
multiple
more
times.
redundancy for you.
It's not even the redundancy that bothers me. It's that they decreased the shield size, and it's that they reduced the speed to where it used to be a very fast ship when it first came out, where because you basically have two turrets that are only rear facing, so you are meant to run away and shoot at your pursuers. So before the nerf on the speed, you actually had a chance to like outrun your attacker and like actually use those rear facing turrets, and now you don't anymore, and that bothers me. That's why I like don't want it
I kind
anymore.
of feel that way about the MSR as well.
Yeah, they did the same thing to the MSR.
Yep.
And especially with master modes, you just can't anymore. So
Well, if you want to kick that freelancer, 400i up to a Star Lancer, that's not a
yeah, that's kind of what I'm
that's a jump.
thinking right now. I that's kind of the decision I'm going through. Is that do I want a Star Lancer, but I would probably go for the build or the tack. Then again, the build wasn't on sale yet, so I don't think it's going to be on sale on the IE.
No, I expect not.
The tack, I don't really do a whole lot of combat, so I don't really need a gunboat. And I don't need another cargo ship, so I no max.
Oh,
so,
man.
So we will see what the Anvil Paladin is. If it's any good, we'll see what that straight to flyable Anvil one is. If it's something I'm interested
Paladin
in.
does imply a combat role.
Yeah, I think I have heard that it's going to be like a medium size, sub-capital gunboat type thing, what I have heard. So we will see. But yeah, we'll see what that straight to flyable is. You have piqued my interest on that one. But yeah, right now I think it's going to be a Galaxy. Because I like the modularity. I like the evolving RSI design language. Because I see what they did. Like if you compare like the Connie and then you look at the Mantis, which was kind of the new RSI release at the time, and then you look at the Scorpius. And you see that drastic shift.
Yeah.
To,
and then the Zeuses, and you see how much they've improved.
Yeah. And I have a Zeus, love it. It's amazing. I have the Zeus ES, it's perfect. So that's why I'm thinking RSI. On the other hand, could also get an Odyssey, similar type thing, but it can only refine Quintanium. Then again, I think they're gonna backtrack that and say that it can actually refine everything, and it has a hangar, which is pretty neat. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of that's kind of the Qjix. What did I do?
Uh-oh.
I didn't do anything. All I did today is add some emotes, and I'm talking about how I'm gonna mess up my fleet next week. Yeah. So there's a lot of options, and I also have a. Oh, what do I do if I don't fight? I salvage and I mine and I explore and I take pictures. And I only fight when someone needs a third gunner. I'm just not very good at dogfighting. And I will occasionally do some FPS if there's a group doing FPS, but that's... Yeah.
And I need to play with you then. I'm always in need of a turret gunner.
Yeah, no, I have realized that I really like sitting in a turret because, I can like do a bunch of other things. Like I can reply to messages from people. I can like scroll. I'm just, don't have to like focus on everything 100% of the time. I can take pictures whenever I want. It's just like very neat. And, just, I don't know. I like that aspect. I like turrets. I like how they feel in the current patch. Like we've been, when I was a third gunner on the Scorpius, that was great. Love it.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And when you think about it, it's pretty much the same gun layout as on a Hurricane, but you kind of have that option to move it to the back and kind of have that cone of fire in a different direction than the pilot. Very interesting. I have also tried being the third gunner or the co-pilot on on the Corsair, now that it's reworked, where the turrets are, or like where the guns are no longer slaved, that was a weird decision from CIG, because it's not really a turret. You just kind of have like a cone of fire, same as the pilot. So you really can only shoot at whatever the pilot is shooting at, but you really can't because things are moving so fast for you. So that was
Gotcha. I have not had the opportunity to check out a Corsair since that change.
yeah, I did it when we were doing phase 1 of Save Stanton, and it was a really, really weird experience. That's why we switched to the Scorpius after it, because there were only 2 of us on the ship that day. So, but yeah, though, I absolutely love being a turret gunner. It's very fun.
Have you tried it in Taurus lately?
No, I think I tried it when it came out, and I was like, why does this thing need a co-pilot? Like, why does it need a gunner? Like, it's not even a gunner, it's a co-pilot.
With the MFD changes and the ability for co-pilots to actually do things sometimes through MFDs, I'm really curious if that
Maybe
passenger
with
experience there is improved some. But
maybe with power management, it's gonna be a little bit different, a little bit more interesting. But in the initial release, I just didn't see it.
yeah, I mean it's just 2 buttons.
Yeah, I could maybe like the one way I could see the Antares working is if they added like electronic warfare to it, similar to what the Sentinel has. So the co-pilot could basically do like the EMP, could do like jamming, that kind of stuff. Maybe that's when I would see it working, but in the current state, not really.
I would love to have targeted hacking, targeted e electronic warfare where, like, say there's a torp flying around, that co-pilot would be able to lock onto that torp
Yeah.
and directly hack it to destroy it.
I mean, if we were like, I think
signal burst it. It doesn't even have
Yeah.
to be hacking, just like signal burst it or
yeah,
do e-warfare things to make it not combat effective anymore.
yeah. I mean, we had John Crew saying that the Legionnaire was almost done, but they were kind of waiting on that hacking gameplay, and we haven't had any information on hacking whatsoever in the last 2 years.
That's another ship I'm looking forward to. I have one in buybacks. I'm really curious how
It's
that's
a
gonna go.
very interesting ship. Even if you sort of forget the boarding part of it, it's still a very nice drop ship. Like it's kind of undergunned, but it's also very small and very agile. So I think it fills a niche where you kind of have the, if you're talking drop ships, you have your Vanguard, whichever one that is, Hoplite, that has like 6. I think it seats 6 people, which is nice.
6 plus turret gunner.
Yeah, 6 plus turret gunner. So it's pretty nice. Then if you want bigger, you have to go Valkyrie or Cutlass Steel. And both of those suck. Well, the Valkyrie is nice. It has quite a lot of firepower now because they upgunned the remote turrets to size 4.
And the Cutlass Steel got a lot of hull HP, so it's a tank now.
Yeah. And the Steel, I see what they were going for with it. I know I've shat on it on the channel before, but I see what they were going for. And then you kind of don't have anything between the 6 and the 20. And I think the Hoplite, they said it seats 12 or something like that, so it's right in the middle. And even like
I'm not sure about the Legionnaire. I know the Prowler sits 16 Marines.
Yeah, the Prowler sits 16. Let me see, and we'll.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Yeah, if only I knew how the heck you spell Legionnaire. Crew 1 to 2. Yeah, that's not what I want. I want. Can you tell me how many people it seats? 8. So it has 8 seats.
Okay.
So yeah, still pretty nice, but
from the Hoplite.
Yeah, but it's pretty much the same size as a Hoplite. It's slightly bigger. So I think.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
neat.
got 2 decks, so it's going to be a little bit thicker and
it's
taller.
It's going to be taller, but that's not that big of a problem. But yeah, and then you have the Prowler, and I really like the Prowler as well. It was one of my favorite ships to do photo shoots with for a long time. But then they sort of changed the VTOL and sort of thruster settings. Now it's back to where you can actually fly it in atmosphere and not crash. But for a long time, you would have to like be in VTOL if you were in Atmo. Otherwise, you would crash.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. Other than that, great ship. Love it. And generally, kind of that Asperia design, that Tavarin with the Talon and stuff. I like that very much.
Yeah, the Tavaran ships are definitely my favorite alien ships. I don't care for the Xi'an design. It's too much anti-grav floaty nonsense. And the Banu, I like the Defender. It feels like it's alive, and I'm not comfortable with that. Like the interior of it
Yeah.
looks like it was made from like an actual crab.
Yeah.
Um, and but the Tavaran ships just have such a solid
Yeah.
feel to them,
Yeah.
and
No,
they're
absolutely.
just good ships.
Yeah. I hope we will see more of sort of Tavaran designs. I would very much like to see a Tavaran gunship
Absolutely.
because I think that could look very good and could be very fun to fly. But I think CH are kind of keeping the alien brands very close and they're not giving us too many releases on them because when you think about it, we have pretty much the only alien race that has a lot of ships is the Vandal because that's what they need for Squadron. But for like Xi'an, you only have the Sulan, you have the
The Santokyai,
Santokyai, and you have the
Kartual,
Kartual, and that's it,
the Nox, I
and the
guess.
Nox. And for Tavarin, you only have the Prowler and the Talon, and then for Banu, you only have the Defender and then the Merchantman. But the Merchantman is on a back burner until they figure out the Banu design language for bigger ships, which I think is why we're gonna get a sort of a medium-size Banu ship. Oh, there's actually the Gatak, whatever the cargo, the medium
Ah, the
cargo,
Raylan.
the Raylan. Yeah, that was one of the alien ships where I was like, you know what, I kind of like this. I kind of want this, but I didn't because I got the MSR, and I'm happy with the MSR. But hopefully it gets a rework. But yeah,
We'll
now,
see.
but so uh, which manufacturer are you looking forward the most at the IAE next week or over the next couple of weeks? And which one do you think are gonna get a concept or a straight to flyable besides the Anvil ones that we talked to and the Intrepid and the
So,
Terrapin Medivac?
yeah. The most interested in Anvil, just because that's my that's my brand. But I'm definitely curious about an Aegis concept. We talked about that. Aegis
Yep.
didn't have much in the works. I'd like to see that. Um, Crusader, I'm honestly good with. Like, I feel like Crusader doesn't need. Crusader has such a wide variety of things that they do. I don't feel like there's any dead set, thing that I expect out of Crusader.
Yep.
But one I really, really want, really want, is a medium salvage ship of some kind. I'm hoping that that's a MISC
Yeah.
or an Argo medium salvage ship. There's been, a lot of talks about one of the silhouettes being
Yep.
a MISC salvage ship, and that's really, really what I want. I don't think I would buy one myself. I don't do a whole lot of salvage, but I like doing salvage with people.
Yep.
I love being the guy that goes and rips components and ship
Yep.
weapons and stuff. But you can't do that in a Vulture because you have so little cargo
Yep.
space. So you need to bring a whole other ship. I just want to have one ship that can do some scraping and have space for components and weapons.
That's a good point. Yeah, I fully agree. Crusader has a very nice lineup of ships right now, especially with the Intrepid. I'm very curious what's the price point going to be on the Intrepid, because
We have a bet about that.
oh really, what's the bet right now?
Well, we don't have stakes at the moment. I am going to try to implement some, but we have varying answers from anywhere from 55 to 90.
Yeah, I'm somewhere in between. I'm thinking 60 to 70, based on I flew it a little bit. I see what it does. They did upgun it from a size 3 to a size 4,
I heard about that. Yeah.
which was a very good choice, I think, because that size 3 not only wasn't really enough, but it also kind of didn't really fit visually in there,
No.
especially with like their choice of the weapon. Maybe if they put like the attrition on there, because that's quite a long weapon, maybe that would work visually. But now they have a Panther on there, I think, a size 4, and that looks very good. And the ship flies really well. I flew it, and I'm doing like the walk around on the outside. I'm like, this is ugly. Like this ship looks wrong. But then I'm like, oh, so you have like 2 cargo elevators, 4 SCU each. Okay, you can very easily put like two SCU boxes in each. And then I'm like, okay, oh, well, the interior is actually very nice. And I'm like, oh, the living quarters are amazing. Like it
Yeah.
has
And the mirror
the
that
mirror
works.
works. Though the thing that surprised me that it has sort of for one person, if you look at it, it has more living quarter space than the MSR. If you like split the MSR into like 3 parts by person,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then a huge engineering area and like internal the so my favorite most useless feature on the ship is that you can open the cargo bay from the inside. Like you have like that door that opens up into the engineering space, and you can like
Yep.
access your cargo bay,
Yep.
which I guess completely useless, uh, unless you like
Yeah.
have a like one SCU box with stuff that you like. Oh, there I have like some food stashed in the box in my cargo hold.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
That's
very nice feature in my opinion.
yeah. It's a nice little ship.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't see really its niche. I assume they're gonna market it as a more premium starter.
So
Uh,
what I am
since
thinking,
compared to things like Aurora and even 100
yeah,
series, it's really expansive.
yeah.
But like, what's its deal?
So my expectation is because it's very fast, very agile, and it has quite a bit of cargo space. Because it has, 8 SCU, and the only starter of a similar size that has 8 SCU of cargo is the Avenger Titan. Uh, so what I'm thinking they're gonna go for is like a delivery slash hauling contract starter. Because when you think about it, most like entry level hauling contracts are under 10 SCU.
Six.
So that would make sense to me. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they want it for. Like, oh yeah, you can just like grab a bunch of like the small planetary hauling contracts and get them done very quickly with this. So
Yeah.
that's what I think they're going for with it. That's what I would do with it. But I am me and CAG or CAG, so who
Yeah.
knows really?
For me, it'll really depend what price point they put it at. Because if they put it at the 60 to 70, you've got competition like the 300i, which also has 8
Yeah,
SCU. You've got competition like $65 for a
yeah,
315p with 12
yeah,
SCU and a tractor beam
yeah.
and a lot of hydrogen fuel.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love the 315p in case you can't
Oh,
tell.
I it's a great like especially after the 300i rework. I don't again I don't like the external look of the 300 series or the 100 series, but I like the
Okay.
interior of the 300 series. I like how Origin do their interiors, and they really nailed it with the 300i. But yeah, I just don't like the exterior of it. It's just like the rear wing, the spoiler thing. It's really weird.
It's a little awkward.
Yeah.
I could definitely see where you dislike it. What did you think of the old model with all the square angles?
I actually like the old
Um,
one better.
I did too.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think a lot
at
of people
first,
did.
I really enjoy what we have, but that old model was
Yeah.
definitely is
Well,
really good.
if
I'm
you
glad
miss it,
that
you
you
can
can still
like
see it.
watch it in Area 18 because they're
Uh-huh.
using like on the how you go from the town center to the spaceport, you have like that
Yeah, they've got
highway.
old Cutlass Black models down there
Yeah,
too.
so they have all 300 eyes, all Cuddy Blacks. So
That
that's like a very cool place to be
I
if you want to
recently
look.
got a friend of mine to fly my 315, so I could grab a clip of the old
Nice,
model and the new model next to each other.
nice. Yeah. So yeah, they're really. But yeah, I'm
So
not like a big Origin fan. The only Origin ship that I ever had was the 400i, and I really liked the concept of it. But and I like the look of it. I like the living quarters. I like how it looks on the outside. And it was like the first Origin ship that had a black paint that you could buy. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yes. Qjix, in Area 18, when you take the tram from the spaceport to like the actual Area 18 city center thing, there's like a highway that you pass over. And there you can see old ship models flying around. But
You
yeah,
can fly down there too.
you
There's
can
a
fly
big
down there
channel
too
that
now.
runs down
Yeah.
the middle.
Yeah.
You only obviously can do it in like 15-second bursts because
Yeah.
of the impounds. But yeah, just the big channel running down
Yeah.
the middle of Area 18 spaceport. What's it called? Riker Memorial?
Riker Memorial
Is that-
Spaceport. Yeah.
Yeah. You can fly right down the middle and find old ship models. It's really cool.
But yeah, the big problem I see with the 400i is that CIG marketed it wrong. They said, oh, it's your Connie competitor, but it's not.
No.
Not even close.
Not on the slide.
It's more of a Cutlass competitor, and at
Yeah.
that point, it's too expensive.
Mhm.
I feel like they should have done, the 400i as a maybe smaller than it is, and say, yeah, it's a Cuddy Black competitor, and then do a 500i, which would be, yep, here's your Connie competitor. It's bigger. It has more stuff in it. It's sort of like a mini 600i, essentially. That's what I think they should have done. And the big thing, my big gripe with the 400i is that it does not fit the Lynx rover, which I think is
It's,
just dumb.
Yeah, it's in a really awkward spot
Yeah.
where it's not a Constellation Corsair competitor because
Yeah.
it doesn't have the capacity, but
Exactly.
it's also too expensive and just too big
Yeah.
to be a medium Zeus Cutlass competitor.
Exactly, and I kind of see the niche for it, or I saw it, where kind of it's like a, luxury touring.
Mhm.
But now that it lost redundancy, it lost speed, and it lost fuel, it doesn't really make sense. So
It's a ship I adore the visuals of that ship. Like visually,
Absolutely.
that is one of my favorite ships in the whole game. But it's just useless to me, so I
Yeah.
can't justify one even as an in-game purchase. Like I would never
exactly. I love it. I loved flying it, but now it's just like they really reduced the speed and kind of overall maneuverability. And it's just so cumbersome now. And now I have the Zeus. The Zeus is actually much more comfortable. It has the same crew, less turrets, but still much better ship in my opinion. We will see, in before the nerf, how it goes, in a couple patches when they like, oh yeah, we're gonna slash the quantum fuel even more. It has too many shields, because you can't just have 6 shields on one ship. Yeah, but
use. What? Nah.
But yeah, it's a great ship. I did my first jump to Pyro in a Zeus. It was
Oh,
great.
beautiful.
The big problem was that at the time in the 4.0, they had a bug where all RSI ships would spawn without the jump drive. So I would be like at the jump gate, and I would be watching. It was like, oh, Morphologist jumps past me. Ruben jumps past me. Liquid jumps past me. I'm like, is every streamer on here right now? Like everybody was streaming, jumping through a jump point. I'm just like standing there. Why is it not opening? Am I doing something wrong? Like, what the hell? And I'm like, you know what? This is weird. So I get out of my seat and I walk to the cargo bay. And okay, here's the jump drive. There's a big old gap where the jump drive should be. That's suspicious. So I land and I store it. And I'm like, indeed, there is no jump drive. I am an idiot. I have been standing there for an hour.
Makes me think of the Drake and Josh meme. The Drake, where's the jump drive?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I landed at the gateway, bought a jump drive, installed it, and I'm like, oh, suddenly, because I wasn't even like getting the jump UI or anything. So
Oh man.
I was just like wondering, what am I doing wrong? It worked. Like it worked last night. What's wrong? Yeah, no, the problem was between the keyboard and the chair, as usual with things I do. So, yeah. So anyway, Integer, any closing thoughts on ships and the IAE and all the upcoming content?
Oh man. No. I'm curious about this whole save standing up into 4.0. I am really glad that they're doing something, giving us something to do while
Yep.
everybody's kind of sitting around waiting on 4.0.
Yep.
So having something to do is nice. I I'm not looking forward to probably not being able to play the game, when we have a free fly and a huge event and a bunch of
Yeah.
Polarises for rent and just everything, all at once as they do.
Yeah, that was a bit of a problem in the PTU with the Polarises. It was
Yeah.
just like,
I
why is there no frame rate at New Babbage? And then you would look at the ice, and it would just be from the spaceport to the commons, it's just Polaris.
I
There was a
so
lake
when
of
I
Polaris.
yeah, when I got into PTU, when they opened it up to all waves, I tried to go to the event hall, and that was when they had the issue of the elevators taking
Yep.
15 minutes to get there. I didn't realize that was the issue, so I was just exiting the menu because I gave up waiting after 2 minutes. So I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna go to my hangar and I'm gonna fly out. And then I had a hangar door problem, and
Yep.
my saber got stuck in the hangar door. So after another relog, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna step out on the ice at the spaceport and see what I see. And I stepped out there, and there was already a Star Lancer
Yep.
and a Polaris and a mess of other ships. So I just
Yep.
walked up in the Polaris, checked out the interior, and said, "Okay, I'm good." I checked out the Polaris.
Yeah, though I have the honor of being Evocati, so I have access to those ships. Like I have them in my hangar in the PTU, so it was a little bit easier for me. Uh, but
Just a little.
it was only easy until I opened the hangar. After that, it got very difficult very quickly. I just like
Oh,
opened up,
so if you're
and that was it.
if you're if you're Evocati, then you saw the other Anvil ships that were available to you.
Yes, I saw the new Hornets.
Okay, that's what I was
Oh,
talking about
that
earlier
was
with the
those. Yeah,
Anvil
I
straight
saw the new
fly.
Hornets.
Mm.
I I really like the tracker. I've always liked the tracker, even the Mark Ones.
Mm-hmm.
The Ghost, I'm not sure what's going on there. Like they kind of added that like little thing on top, like it's a little bulge, and
Yep.
I don't get it. Like what's going on? Like
I was glad.
go
I
ahead.
was glad to hear that if you take that top cap off, the ship does lose its stealth bonuses.
Huh,
Because
interesting.
the old Hornet, the stealth bonuses were bound to the hull, not
Yeah.
to that component. So
Huh.
you could do the old Murder Hornet thing where you take the turrets off and you upgun a Ghost to make
Yeah.
a way too powerful stealth fighter. So
Huh.
I'm glad that they have acknowledged that they don't want us doing that. And they did
Interesting.
what they needed to do to stop that.
Yeah, like that's like the only thing I have about it. Like it's nice that it's a component that gives you stealth. That's very cool. Maybe it's just like, oh, we made the shape more stealthy, so it's more stealth. That's why there's a big old bulge on top of it. I think
Yeah.
maybe that's the thought process. I don't know. Don't have a Hornet. Not. Then again, I do have a Gladius that I'm not gonna use.
The well, there you go.
Yes.
Um, the Mark One, they said that it was a let's see here, a screen, an Alliance StarTech Insta
Yeah.
Screen 2S is a two-zone shielding unit that
Huh.
offers directional protection while keeping the energy signatures low.
Interesting. Huh. That's
Uh,
cool.
I think it's just
It's
a
just.
made-up paragraph to
Oh
explain
yeah.
the funky box up top makes it stealthy, which I'm just fine with.
Yeah, I mean,
Good.
rule of cool, right? Then
Yeah.
they chuck it to the lore team like, yeah, explain this. Good luck. We will see you. We will see you at the stand-up meeting tomorrow morning. Uh, yeah, no, because I have a Gladius from a referral, and then I
Mm.
won a Gladius in the Citizen Con contest.
Oh man.
Yeah, so now I have two Gladiuses, and I fly exactly zero of them. Well, actually no,
I
I fly the Gladius because it's a very fun ship to fly, and
I used to have a Pirate Gladius, and I loved low flying in it. And then the Master Modes changes made it a lot harder to do that.
yeah.
so I swapped to an Arrow. So I don't, and I did end up melting my Pirate
Yeah.
Gladius, as much as I hate to say. I love that chip. That paint is just phenomenal. 6-month insurance, absolute garbage. Um, and no way to fix that. But the
Yeah,
paint is beautiful.
absolutely. No, I love flying the Gladius as a camera platform because it's agile enough in all conditions where I can side strafe and still overtake whatever I'm shooting, which makes for some very interesting shots. I think I'm gonna have some very fun Polaris fleet shots tomorrow in the video that I did that way.
Awesome.
I think I put them
Look
in
forward
there.
to it.
I know that some of them didn't come out exactly video ready, but yeah, I think there's gonna be a couple in there at least. And why do my headphones keep slipping off my head? Anyway, Integer, I think I'm gonna let you go, let you get on with your afternoon. Uh, yeah, we'll see if we get any more callers or if I'm gonna end it today because I am getting hungry. I
Oh man, well you go.
yeah,
Definitely.
I thought
Well,
I
thanks for
had
having
enough
me on
dinner,
as
so
usual.
but yeah, no, absolutely love having you on, a regular on the stream, on the channel, and on the podcast. It's a all round fan, and your presence and your support is appreciated.
I glad to feel appreciated. You are definitely one of my favorite Star Citizen YouTubers. It's like every time I get that notification on my phone when I'm at work, the new upload, it's like, yes, I have new content.
Ah,
Oh.
you're melting my heart. Yeah, it's I never imagined myself that way as a content creator where like I know people like to watch and listen to the things I make, but I never imagined myself as being the guy who people get excited about. And it's kind of like shifts my perception of what I'm doing here.
Oh man, don't undersell yourself. You offer a great perspective.
Hell, I am just the guy who talks into a microphone, and I
But you
occasionally
do
have
it from
opinions.
the right angle. It's
Yes,
all about the angle.
yes, yeah. At other angles, this microphone doesn't work. To my social media manager, please clip that for TikTok. I think that's gonna be a good one. Well, Andrew, thank you. Have a great day, and I will see you on the next one, or on in the comment section, or or on Discord.
You will see me everywhere.
Exactly.
We'll see ya.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, as I was saying, so I wanted to go over before I go and have some dinner. I want to go over some of the sort of happenings in Star Citizen right now because there is a lot going on. Uh, for after a long time, we had three PTU or three versions of the game going. We had live PTU and ePTU, and we had live going with 3.24.2. We had PTU with 3.24.3, and we had ePTU for 4.0. And the interesting bit there was that we actually have Save Stanton running on PTU currently while it is running in live, which I don't get it. I don't understand how that works. I don't know why CH you're doing it, but whatever. Very fun either way. I was kind of skeptical about the event when they announced it because I played it in the PTU and it didn't quite perform, especially stage 3 or phase 3. But they're cutting that out and they're sort of going to reuse it somewhere else later in time when they optimize it, which is a shame because it was fun, but it just didn't work. It would brick the whole server, so not great. So very much looking forward to the other follow-on phases of the event. Then we have 4.0 opening up to Wave 1, which is great. I for so long, like especially with Evocati being able to show it off, I really wanted more people to get their hands on it. Now they can, and I hope they open it up as soon as possible so we can actually get a release towards the end of the year or start of the new year. And yeah, IAE. Next Friday, we're starting with Crusader, I think, and then we're gonna every 48 hours we're gonna get another manufacturer, and they are gonna go on for 2 weeks with the free fly and ships for rent. And yeah, so that's gonna be great fun. I will be trying to post as much as I can from that, keep up with the news. But yeah, I am really hungry, so I'm gonna go for today. So thank you all for watching. This will be clipped on YouTube, on Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. I always forget the third one. And yeah, thank you all for watching. See you next week for the IE episode, I guess. I guess we're going to do 2 IE episodes. I'm not sure. So yeah, thank you for watching or listening. Fly safe, and I will see you in the verse. Good night.